Hi YouTube. How's everybody? It's DEDEBLASS. I hope it's shooting in the right direction that I want. I hope it, it's working. Okay, I think it's a little slanty. Let's see if I can get something. So does that look like it's recording? Okay, it looks like it. Looks like it's slanted a little bit. Well, anyway, hi YouTube. How's everybody? It's DEDEBLASS, the Black Madonna, coming in to do some news for you. I have quite a bit here. Great stories. It should be enough to do a great setup for the news, okay? Yeah, so thank you for joining me to listen to my news. Okay, yeah, so let's get started. Okay, I hope everyone's having a nice weekend so far. Okay, now, there's this guy, his name is Fotis Doulos from Connecticut. He was charged with killing his wife. He dies after a suicide attempt. A real estate developer charged with murdering his wife died at the New York City hospital after attempting suicide at his Connecticut home on Tuesday, his attorney says. Doulos was 52 years old. He was arrested and charged with capital murder and kidnapping in connection with the disappearance of his wife. Jennifer Doulos, who vanished in May of this year, whose body, of last year, of 2019, her body has never been found. They never found her body, but they're sure that he did something, wrong, and I think he killed her. I really do. Okay, the couple had 5 kids together. We're in a drawn out. They was in a drawn out divorce, and it was a big custody battle, and so that's where they were at the time of him killing her. Her at least being missing anyway. Okay, now Michelle Trocoris, she's the girlfriend of the divorced husband and his friend. They all have been charged the same day. They were all charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Doulos attempted suicide at a Farmington home. Jennifer has been missing since she dropped her children at school in the morning. And she's never been seen since she dropped the kids off at school. Okay? All right, now I want to ask you a question. When you're on the road and you're driving, right? Okay, and then you see a bunch of cars kind of in a line together. They have the lights on. What would you do? Would you cut their line, the funeral? I would call it a funeral line. Would you cut their funeral line? Or would you stop and allow them to go on through? Because, it's obviously this is someone's funeral. So basically, driving through a funeral line, of cars, to me, is rude. Okay, now, for God's sakes, you know what I mean? I pull over and let them by. That's how I feel. So they were having a discussion about it, and in my opinion, I see funerals a lot since I was a little girl, and my family, we've always pulled over. It's a funeral when I was a little girl. So now that I'm a woman and I drive, when I see a funeral line, I let the funeral line go on by. There's no rush for me. Stand by and let the funeral, that should be just self-explanatory there. You know what I mean? Let the funeral people go by, show some respect. Right, y'all? Don't y'all agree with that? Or you agree just to, just pop in their line and you going to get some Dutchess or something, and you're going to pop through the funeral, All right, okay, now there's a warrant details of sexual assault and the kidnapping charges against a Manchester man. Okay, now a woman told police she feared dying after a man that she knows forced her into a bedroom at his house and assaulted her. And the arrest warrant was released Thursday. His name is Miguel Hernandez. He's 31 years old of 64 West Street. Was arrested Wednesday on charges that include first-degree kidnapping, unlawful restraint, and risk of injury to a child. He posted bail $250,000 and is due to appear in the Manchester Superior Court on February 27th of this year. Okay? I hope they do something with him. That's very bad. All right, now this is in Southington, Connecticut. Now there's one dead, excuse me, and 2 injured. In the early morning, a car collision. A Meriden man is dead after a 2-car collision on the Meriden Waterbury Turnpike earlier Saturday morning, according to police. Okay, Vincent Fairbanks is 23, was pronounced dead at the scene after police responded to the collision in an area of Orchid Lane around 1:30 a.m. There was also a 21-year-old unnamed woman who sustained injuries as a passenger in the car. Fairbanks in 2008 BMW crossed double yellow lines and collided with the 2015, I think it's a Suburban. Okay, now the 63-year-old man in the 2015 sustained, with the 2015 Suburban, sustained non-life-threatening injuries, okay? All right, so they're just investigating that particular accident, at this point, okay? Now, a man stole a vehicle from West Hartford, and he crashed in Cromwell. Okay, Cromwell police on Thursday arrested a driver who had fled the scene after he drove a vehicle across the center line and crashed into another vehicle. Police later found that man had a stolen vehicle from West Hartford earlier that day. They found him. Okay, now Cromwell police arrested Frederick Dart and charged him with second-degree larceny, evading responsibility, reckless driving, and other motor vehicle charges. Police also charged him with 3 counts of second-degree failure to appear, stemming from 3 previously existing arrest warrants that he has already out. Dart was driving south on Main Street in Cromwell when his vehicle crossed over the center line, and it continued to crash into a curb, into another car. He crashed into another vehicle. He landed in a private driveway. Isn't that something? So, yeah, he was driving a little bit reckless there. When people drive reckless and I'm in the car, I tell them to pull over. Pull over and let me out. Pull over and let me out. They had a story where they had a young lady, a man had committed a crime, so he was on the run. And, he's crashing through other cars. He didn't hit the police cars. And a lot of things, going on with that particular incident. And, when they finally pulled that car over, it was a passenger. It was a girl passenger. Y'all girls better watch them illegal guys, especially when you get a little older. You have to be wise. This guy got drugs in the car. Now, that's wrong all the way around when you grown. You know what I'm saying? But when you're dealing with little girls, you can manipulate them easy. They feel like it's cool to ride around with weed in the car, and we eating red lights, and we eating the stop signs. They probably think it's, terrific. But me, I don't. And as a woman coming up, too, you couldn't get me into no situations where I'm going to get in trouble. Do you understand? If I ever got in trouble, it was my own. I never got in trouble for someone. Do you understand what I mean? You ladies got to be a little careful out there with these guys. They got weed in the car, they got meth in the car, they got heroin in the car, they got fentanyl in the car, they driving fast, and excuse me, but pull over and let me out, and then doing them drugs with those guys don't love you, because if they love you, they wouldn't be trying to have sex with you in the back of a car, and if they loved you, they wouldn't be trying to give you drugs, and if they love you, they wouldn't want you to disrespect your parents if they loved you, if they cared for you to go by your parents' rules, home at 10 o'clock, that's it, and you rolling in at 2 a.m., You got to start thinking for yourselves, these out here, because it's not a lot of people out here that has a good mind and that can grab a child by the shoulder and let them know that, this is wrong, and you got to stop, hanging with these people, hanging with the wrong crowd, The guy's on the run, he's running from the police, he hitting cars, and you in there with him, Y'all better watch that ride or die thing, because it's a difference between a ride or fool than a ride or die. Okay? All right, so I have another video that I want to do, so I'm going to get off of this one, and I thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. I always appreciate it, okay? All right, so maybe about an hour or so, I'll be back with some more stories, okay? All right, okay, everyone have a nice evening, all right? And thank you for watching. I appreciate it, okay? All right, take care, everybody.